Let's just open the sack first and see what's actually in it. It might not even be worth the trouble.
Hi.
Okay, it's worth it.
Moondrop is dipping their fingers into a new type of headphone. Instead of some full-sized chungus, we have this small boy, the Moondrop old-fashioned. It sports a design that is similar to the Koss Porta Pro on-ears, and it comes in super cheap at 25 bucks. I actually picked mine up in a sales event for only 12 bucks. That's like half the price. So let's see if the old-fashioned can really impress at such a low price. If you like the show, help the channel grow with a like and a sub. You're watching Lumerion, now let's get into it. Now here's where the cheap price hits you. My old-fashioned arrived in this flimsy cardboard box. It's really thin and it was just completely smashed. Now this thing probably got shipped through a war zone. It most likely triggered many explosives along the way. I mean, yeah, just toss the box. There's also a quick start guide, but otherwise it's really bare bones. The old-fashioned has a simple build. It's a metal band with some plastic parts holding together the two drivers. There's a ball and socket joint with limited swivel for ergonomics, but I like the design overall. It's got some nice geometric patterns printed on. The whole color scheme works well. It reminds me of that old StatTrak Asimov skins from CSGO, and the sliding mechanism is pretty smooth. Now the cable connects via 2-pin. Honestly, it's not like the best looking cable, but the rip texturing feels kinda nice and it gets the job done. Now the cool thing is, I think the old-fashioned has a lot of modding potential. The ear pads, they're just simple foam covers, but they're plush enough. And you can definitely experiment with Yaxi pads to change the sound and comfort. And because it connects via 2-pin, you could even use Bluetooth earhooks to turn it into a completely wireless set. Alright, so being so bare bones and budget priced, how does the old-fashioned perform? Honestly, really good for 25 bucks, which again I got for half that price, just 12 bucks. It's a warm sound that's non-fatiguing and easy to like, though it could definitely use with some EQ. By default, the old-fashioned has a pretty anemic bass. Like you've got just a teensy tiny bit of rumble, and I mean some like pillowy light taps on your ears that serve as slam factor. Definitely bass is not the star of the show, okay? Moondrop is more known for their refined mid-range, and that DNA is definitely in here. You've got like a warm lower mid-range that isn't too in your face like a Koss earphone would be, and there's decent definition in the upper mids to show off vocals without becoming shouty. That's what I always like about Moondrop tunings. Good vocals without being shouty. I really liked listening to 53 Thieves' entire After Hours EP. It sounds very calm, very loose on the old-fashioned. It's really nice for a long listening session. The old-fashioned makes me wish that this EP lasted a whole hour instead of just 15 minutes. Anyways, there is some treble roll-off, although I think that's ultimately for the best, because I think it just completes the warm signature that the old-fashioned is going for. Working with my friend Duck, who's really good at making magic happen with auto EQ, we managed to cook up a preset for the old-fashioned that just min-maxes the bass without affecting other frequencies. Now with this preset, you'll hear a more authoritative low end that doesn't bleed and distort too much. We really eked out the last bit of bass you can out of the old-fashioned. You can hear some like proper slam now, thanks to strategic boosting at 130 Hz. Everything else remains mostly the same as before, but now you've got a clean bass boost to complement it. If you want to try out this EQ, be sure to join my Discord, The Hideout, and thanks again Doug for making this auto EQ preset. So for a little bit more money, there's the Roseselsa Distant Mountain. It's going for a more retro vintage design. I think the build on both of these, I think it could use some work. The old fashioned, it needs more premium materials than plastic. And the Distant Mountain's MMCX connectors are really hard to attach and detach. Both look very nice on your head though, serving as kind of fashion-forward audio gear, as you can see here. Maybe my Minecraft Steve head is a little... It's not like the best example for this, but you know, you can see that these will look nice when you're out on the street. Well, sound-wise, the Distant Mountain wins on the technical front. It has deeper bass impact and generally it portrays details and imaging a bit better than the old-fashioned. However, the Moondrop has a much more refined kind of tuning. The Distant Mountain, it has this weird peak at like 2.5 kilohertz, and it can be really bright and coarse sounding, exhibiting ringing resonances. Whilst the upper mids on the old-fashioned are much more refined, much more well-controlled. There's no weird peaks that like completely shout in your ears. Now I tried swapping the old-fashioned pads into the Distant Mountain, and whilst it does reduce the peak on the Rose on-ear slightly, it's still just a brighter presentation overall than the old-fashioned. Now, if you really want a bright tuning with your on-ear headphones and you like the retro kind of design, go with the Distant Mountain. But otherwise, I think the old-fashioned, it comes in cheaper with an easy-to-like, warmer tonality that's generally gonna be more forgiving with your music. So, after Chi-Fi brands have taken care of the IEM world, they've now come for the on-ear headphones. The old-fashioned is a really good example of budget audio that just punches above its price. Although its packaging is almost non-existent, and its build is also, you know, it's quite basic. It delivers on the essentials with a warm, neutral sound that's enjoyable for most genres, so long as your track doesn't need too much bass. And there are also modding opportunities to further customize the old-fashioned to your taste. And all of this for a measly like 20 bucks, and it's closer to 10 during sales. This makes the old-fashioned, I think, an easy buy for those who don't like an IEM or an earbud fit, and you want like a lighter on-ear wearing experience rather than full-sized headphones. And it's cheap, really cheap. So, you know, you can just buy for fun and you won't be losing out on much money, you know. And that's gonna be it for this video. Join my Patreon to get behind the scenes footage, extra photography of the products that I cover, and get access to my image presets, which aim to take off that kind of stale digital feeling of modern cameras and restore some vintage vibes to your pictures. Become a channel member to get early access to videos just like these. And if nothing else, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.